We are halfway through. We made it. We made it halfway through. Okay. Starting the second half of this amazing, amazing night, Peter Zuckerman is going to be talking about foreign languages, hopefully not in a foreign language, right? Excellent. Foreign languages for humans and computers. Give it up for Peter Zuckerman.
Hi everyone. I'm currently a sophomore at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and today I thought I would talk to you a little bit about how we can effectively learn foreign languages and why it's important as programmers. So I want you to recall back to high school when you were forced to take a foreign language and you were studying Spanish for 3 or 4 years and you pretty much don't remember anything or you hate those memories. And I remember I went to Mexico after studying Spanish for 3 years and I literally couldn't have a conversation with anyone. So it got me interested when I found out about modern tools and learning how you can become conversational extremely quickly and surpass that level that you had in high school and actually have conversations with people. So these are 2 tools that I've personally used to effectively learn 2 foreign languages, and I'm going to use them in the future for more. So the first one is called Anki, and this is really what accelerates language learning, and it's a spaced repetition flashcard system on your phone and on your computer, and I'll talk in a second what that means. The second tool is called italki, and you pretty much just have a live lesson online through Skype or whatever other medium with a foreign language speaker, and you just talk to them, and that's it. And then the third part is once you have a solid foundation in that language, you just consume as much native material as you can. So books, videos, following people on Twitter, just get immersed in that language. So the reason Anki is so effective is it shows you the flashcards, but then when you miss it, it shows you it again on an interval. And then when you finally get it, the interval increases. So let's say you see a word in a foreign language, you don't know it, it'll show you it again in 10 minutes. And then as you start to recall that word, it'll show you it in an hour, and then in a day, and then in a week, and then eventually the intervals become so big because you've ingrained that word in your memory. So I've used this 5-month plan. Actually, I used it in 1 month just this summer to get out of 1 entire year of Korean in college. So here's what I would do. Any foreign language you pick, you get 5,000 vocabulary words and you load it into Anki. And with those 5,000 words, if you do 15 new words a day, which is average, it's not too much, in 5 months you'll have a little over 2,000 words. That's a lot of words. That's far beyond basic conversational level. I would also get a grammar deck for Anki, and I would learn grammar every day. And then I would use both the grammar and the vocab in your weekly or bi-weekly lessons with a native speaker on italki. And that's it. There's nothing else. I mean, 5 months and you've surpassed the level that you had in high school after 3 or 4 years. I mean, that's amazing. So that's fantastic. Foreign languages are amazing and I love learning about them. But since this is a technical conference, I thought I would talk a little bit, maybe a reminder for most of you, just a brief refresher on encodings. So, especially in today's world, I think that knowing a foreign language and just in such an interconnected world, we have to work with developers that come from all backgrounds. So I think it's important to know how they view text, because text to somebody from China isn't the same as text to me who speaks English, right? So it's very important to know encodings. And obviously, we probably all already know that any discussion of encoding starts with ASCII, where the numbers between 32 and 127 represent all the characters that matter to English speakers. And then we have all the other stuff from all around the world that can't be contained in those characters. So naturally, we come to Unicode, which is now a worldwide standard. It's just a huge set for all the alphabets and all the symbols you could possibly think of. And it contains a little over 1 million code points. So I think it's important to say what Unicode is not, because I personally ran into this issue when I was just learning about Unicode. It's not a 2-byte character set. It's also not the same thing as when people talk about UTF-8, 16, or 32. And it's not tied to any particular encoding. So there's 3 major types of encodings. There's UTF-32, where each character is represented with 4 bytes. UTF-16, which uses a variable 2 bytes for most alphabets, and then 4 for the less common ones. And then there's the de facto standard, which is UTF-8. And it's backwards compatible with ASCII, so naturally Latin alphabet and English speakers love it. And it's variable and just very efficient. And again, it's become the standard, so it makes sense. And this graph just shows how apparent and how widespread Unicode has become in the last few years. And I think it just goes to show how interconnected the world has become. So this is actually a personal example that I ran into. I was learning this character in Japanese, which means way or road. And I loaded it into Anki, and I saw a question mark in a box. And I was like, what the heck is this? So I looked online and found that other people had the same problem when they were learning foreign languages other than English, and I found out about Unicode. So I found out that this character was stored as a code point, and then depending on which encoding you choose, it was stored as bytes. So I just thought it was interesting that I chose a foreign language that wasn't represented with the Latin alphabet, and I was forced to sort of learn about Unicode. So the last thing I'll mention is that you literally cannot read text if you don't know how it's encoded, and that's because, again, as Joel Spolsky said, there's no such thing as plain text. So you have to know the encoding to read text. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening. If anyone has an internship for me, I'm wide open. Thank you so much.